Pantoja defeats Brandon Moreno via, I think it was split decision to solidify the Trilogy 3-0 for Pantoja. So Pantoja now the UFC flyweight champion in a fight where it was very close, tooth and nail. He really had to go out there, grind it out, show heart, determination, will. He really had to go out there and prove that he wanted it more than Moreno. At times, it looked like Moreno was going to stop it. Looked like that he was landing some nasty shots at Pantoja, but I just never saw that sense of urgency. I think it was round 2 where we saw, I think it was probably a 10-8 round for Moreno, but you just never saw after that a sense of urgency of him trying to just go out there and really finish the fight, make his mark, really put his pedal to the metal, push forward. Pantoja went out there and grinded out, did what he had to do to get the victory, where Moreno, he thought what he was doing was enough, and I just did not see a sense of urgency. And I thought the exact same sentiment in his third fight with Deiveson Figueiredo, where you just saw him where in his head he looked like he was ahead, where he just kind of left it to the judges, and I don't think he should have done that. There were so many opportunities where he could have finished the fight, and he didn't capitalize on that. And again, like, that's going to pay to his detriment where he lost the belt again. And Brandon Moreno, who probably several times in that fight, second round, third round, he could have finished it, but he let Pantoja dictate where the fight went, get him against the fence, get him to the ground. His takedown defense was just very iffy. I mean, Pantoja really went out there and just worked hard and grinded a solid victory where you can't even really argue it all that much, where Moreno just did not have that sense of urgency rounds 3, 4, and 5 to where you could say he defended his belt. You know, moving forward, I'd like to see Pantoja go against Amir Albazi. I think Amir Albazi, he's on a really nice win streak, what he's done recently too. His victory over against Kai, I don't think he won that fight, but he got the victory, so he's probably next in line. If Kai had that victory, I would say Kai Kara-France all day. But then you got Brandon Royval, but I think Brandon Royval is probably going to fight Brandon Moreno, so I'll talk about that in a second. But for Pantoja, I'd like to see him go against Amir Albazi, but if Albazi's not healthy, Kai Kara-France would be a very, very, very good matchup. Next up, I think Brandon Moreno moving forward, go back to the drawing board. I know he's had a lot of inconsistencies within his coaching, the whole James Krause situation where he's at now. And Brandon, I think that he just has to develop this, like, yeah, he knows he's that good, but he's can't leave it to the judges. He's got to go out there and finish these fights and make the statements that he needs to make. And he's good enough. He could have done it. He had plenty of opportunities, but for whatever reason, he didn't capitalize on that. Who knows what what he was seeing in the octagon, but unfortunately it cost him the belt. But moving forward, I'd like to see him with a rematch against Brandon Royval. I know they had that fight before where Royval had that shoulder injury, where he had the TKO loss, but it was a funky loss, and he had the shoulder injuries. You know, it was very similar into what happened to Aaron Pico over in Bellator, very similar to what happened to Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. We've seen it happen time and time again, where he has a TKO loss, but it was really due to injury because of his shoulder popping out. So I'd really, really like to see that rematch. I think Royval has done enough since then. I think he's on a 3-4 fight win streak. I'd like to see him get another opportunity against Brandon Moreno. But that's going to do it for the co-main event. Let me know what you guys think is next for Pantoja, what you guys think is next for Brandon Moreno moving forward after UFC 290. Guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.